Indian persuasion totals. Categories include food, entertainment, education, and health. More people, usually 25, spend more on clothing and entertainment. As people get older, spending on these things goes down a lot. The response focuses on the requirements of the task and the suitable format is used. Key features are adequately covered, although there is no overview which limits the task achievement score. Organization is generally logical, and there is a clear overall progression. Basic devices are used to some good effect, despite the lack of clear reference in the third paragraph. 1825 age group spends 46, 26, 24 hours. Okay. That shows that food is the biggest spending category, making 40% of total spending, followed by health at 20%. This one's requirements of the task and suitable format is used. Key features are adequately covered, although there is no overview which limits the task achievement score. Yes. A variety of complex grammatical structures are used with some flexibility and accuracy. Grammar and punctuation in general control error-free sentences of frequent. That's 6.5? Are you fucking serious? Dude, I think I'm gonna fucking flunk tomorrow. This shit is fucking insane. Yeah, okay. Achieved a 6.0 band score. What's the question? Achievements in the field of science have made life easier for everyone, however, every coin has two sides. I need to ensure there's a flow. Okay. Lexical resources generally adequate and appropriate for the task. There are several errors in word choice. For example, it's lopsided. What the fuck is lopsided? The demand and pressure on resources has increased due to economic disparity in availability of resources. And facilities is lopsided, and the rich have access to a large pool of resources. Fair enough. Okay, sect. What is sex? How do you pronounce sect? Sex. How do you pronounce sex pronunciation? Sects. That's yeah. Okay, I guess that's just what I'm saying. Sects. CCTS. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Turn the music a little bit. Okay, now we have an 8.0 band answer. Main parts of the prompt are appropriately and sufficiently addressed. Really, you make spelling mistakes in the fucking commentary, okay? Main parts of the prompt are appropriately and sufficiently addressed, and a clear position is presented is relevant to the question. Main ideas are extended and supported, although discussion on the disadvantage of non-opposite sentences could be expanded. The writer could have included more specific examples to support the points made. The essay is logically organized with clear paragraphing. Information can be followed with ease. Cohesion is well managed, although the writer could have used a wider range of cohesive devices. Wide vocabulary sources used fluently and flexibly to convey precise meanings, such as skillful use of uncommon vocabulary items with an awareness of collocation. A wide range of grammatical structures is used accurately and flexibly, and the majority of sentences are error-free. The word is collocation, like colloquially meaning in this one. Combination of words that naturally go together. For example, it's a big mistake. Oh, okay. Natural combination. Wet paint, make an effort. Powerful engine. Highly unusual, make a mistake. You can make precise meaning and avoid misunderstandings that can arise from word-to-word transition. Using correct collocations makes your communication more effective and confident. Verb plus noun. Do your homework, make a bed, use speech. Highly profitable, brightly lit. Okay, things that go together usually, I'm guessing. Yeah, like I said, a natural combination, I guess. A sense of pride, debate on. Verb plus prepositional phrase. A lot of money, burst into tears. Gently pat. Whispered softly. Okay. Collocation. Collocation. This is just something that I guess I will have to do inherently. Do a favor, do housework, do shopping, do washing up, do your best, do your hand. Do harm, do good, make a difference, make a mess, make a mistake, make nice. Make an effort, make money. Make progress, make room, make trouble. Have a time, have a bath, have a drink, have a haircut, have a holiday. Have a problem, have a relationship, have lunch, have sympathy. Take a break, take a chance, take a look, take a rest, take a seat, take a taxi. Take an exam, take someone's place. Okay. Great wisdom. Different tastes, fixed point, good thinking, keep in mind, have a haircut. Fast forward, no, nothing, save money. Guide price. If you have me read this, I'm sure I'll answer. The debate over effectiveness of longer prison sentences in combating crime is ongoing. Some people argue that extended imprisonment serves as a strong deterrent and enhances public safety. While critics highlight the socio-economic issues that it can cause. Socio-economic issues that it can cause. One key advantage of a longer prison sentence is its potential to discourage crime. The threat of spending more time in prison may discourage individuals from committing offenses, thereby reducing crime rates. Furthermore, keeping dangerous criminals off the street for longer periods of time protects society from harm, particularly in the case of violent or repeat offenders. Longer sentences also provide a sense of justice, ensuring that the punishment fits the crime. However, there are notable disadvantages to longer prison sentences. A significant issue is the increased cost to the state. Maintaining a larger prison population requires substantial financial resources, which could be better spent on preventive measures like education and rehabilitation. Rehabilitation, is that preventive? I guess it is to prevent repeat offenses. I feel like rehab comes in only after something has taken place. I'm not sure if rehab is a preventive measure. If I would consider rehab a preventive measure. It could be. Yeah, it could be. I don't know. Additionally, longer sentences result in prison overcrowding, leading to inhumane conditions, increased violence within prison, and strain on prison infrastructure. These factors can hinder rehabilitation efforts, as extended time in prison may reinforce criminal behavior and complicate reintegration into society, potentially leading to higher recidivism. Who uses these words? Who are you people? Recidivism. Tendency of a convicted criminal to reoffend. The person succeed in reducing recidivism. Recidivism. That's why? Research suggests that focusing on rehabilitation and social integration is more effective in reducing long-term crime rates. Moreover, long imprisonment can negatively impact families and communities, often encouraging cycles of poverty and crime. In conclusion, while longer prison sentences may offer some benefits in terms of deterrence and public safety, they also pose significant social and economic challenges that need to be carefully considered. Okay. Jesus, I want at most I think I'll be able to get like 6.5 or 7. I don't think I'm getting an 8 in the writing test. Fuck's sake, man. So if I want a 7, let's say I get a 6 in this. I guess 6 is even being more generous. But let's say I get a 6 here. And then reading I fuck up so bad, make too many mistakes, and I get a 6 there. I have to get an 8 in speaking and listening. An 8. I think an 8 is like I make 5 mistakes or something. Else bad score criteria. So for an 8, yeah, I only have 5 mistakes that I can make. Jesus Christ, okay. Yeah, okay. Just take as operational command of the language, though with occasional inaccuracies in appropriate usage and misunderstandings in some situations. This feels so weird. Fucking okay, let's see. So divided by 4. Yeah, okay, so for 2 years. Damn score. I'm gonna get a 6.5. The absolute minimum that I have to get is a 6.5. I should be able to do it, hopefully. I'm not sure, but we'll try. Not tomorrow. Okay, 250 words. I have... Okay, open things. I have to write 250 words, and it'll have about 40 minutes. Is what I should be having. So here to have 15, 40. Like so 6 seconds per word. A little bit more. Here's one of my last explanation of how it achieves it. Let's see who achieves it. I think I'm gonna okay, I don't know, man. I might have been too overconfident in my skills. Let's do this one. Okay, let's see. Oh, this is extra hard. What the fuck do you mean extra hard? What do you mean extra hard? What? No way they give you this. There's no way this is something they give. There's just no shot. No fucking way. What the fuck? What the fuck? Driver illustrates how to tie, how to knot a bow tie in 8 stages. To begin with, the tie should be placed around the neck with one end slightly longer than the other. Then place the longer end over the other and pass it upwards behind the point where the two ends cross. Now, form a loop with the end that is hanging lower. Bring the end of the tie that is pushed up inwards back outside over the top, outside of the loop. Now, fold the loop up. Fold the loop and bring it to the top near the neck. Goes up there, and then push the loop in. What the fuck? The other end of the tie and bend it twice to form an S shape, bring the lower end down and in front, so that it holds the S curve in place. Now comes the trickiest part of the process. Take the long end of the tie and form a similar S shape before passing it through the narrow gap behind the other end. What the fuck are you talking about, mate? Of this part. This grips a knot and the bow should now be held securely in place. Finally, adjust both sides of the bow to make it symmetrical and prepare to be envy of your friends. 152 words. That is bullshit. Fuck you, man. Fuck you. Space exploration is much too expensive money. It should be spent on more important things. What's your opinion? I sometimes argue that too many students go to university, while others claim that a university education should be a universal right. Discuss both sides of the argument and give your own opinion. 250 words. How long? How big is 250 words? I'm not sure. Open up Word and we'll just type out 250 words. Okay. 250 words. This is a Word document to see how big of a an essay comes about when you need to type out to 250 words. That's 25 words, so 10 sentences like that. 1, 2, 3, 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. It's not big. It's not that big. It's probably not how small the font will be. It'll probably be mostly like that. So like half a page-ish. Okay. I think I should probably do one less there. And do one more there. So I need to do maybe like 3 sentences introduction, 2 sentences ending, and then a 5-sentence body. And the 5 can be split into more depending on if I have to like argue between 2 points or write about both points, write about both the pros and cons. Then maybe I can yoink a sentence from the introduction or one of the conclusion sentences and then make another paragraph. It'll be 2, 3, 3, 2 or 3, 2, 2, 1. Something like that. Oh, sorry. 2, 3, 3, 1. How much is that? No, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 1. Or 2, 3, 3, 2. Something like that. Okay. action man squirms. How do they test the academic reading? I need to get to 35 to get an 8. Who managed to get a band 9? That has to be fucking insane to be able to get. Task achievement, cohesion and coherence, source, grammatical range and accuracy. It's the same for both. Task achievement. For task 1 of both AC and GT, the criterion is solve fully, appropriately, and accurately, or at least responds fulfills requirements set out of the task. Okay, should be doable. What should be the easiest one to do of them all? Writing task has a defined input and a largely predictable output. It's basically an information transfer task which relates to narrowly the factual content of a diagram, graph, or speculative explanations that lie outside the given data. Task achievement criterion assesses the ability to summarize the information provided in the diagram, selecting key features of the information or in sufficient detail to illustrate these facts and features, reporting information, figures, and trends accurately, comparing or contrasting the information. Need some water. Is the most I stressed over a fucking English exam, dude. A goddamn English exam. Like, you know. Or may develop precision in relation to the given prompt, using a minimum of 250 words. Oh, okay. They should be supported by evidence and examples may be drawn from the candidate's own experience. TR response. How fully the candidate responds with subtitles. Task achievement and then task response. Okay. Fully the candidate responds to the task. How adequately the main ideas are extended and supported. When the candidate's ideas are the task, clearly the candidate opens the discourse, establishes the position, formulates conclusions. Okay. Properly, the format of the response is to the task. Okay, so I'll have to read the question, then figure out the structure. I think straight away I have to figure out the structure. And then just work on sketching out that structure. That'll probably be the easiest way for me to do it, I think. think that should be the easier way to do it. Instead of, I feel like just fucking winking it. Yeah. Yeah, okay. How fully the candidate responds to the task, how adequately the main ideas are extended and supported, how relevant the candidate's ideas are to the task, how clearly the candidate opens the discourse. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay. I just need to not be nervous tomorrow. Because I think I should be able to do decently well in the speaking test. Well, I hope so at least. Because I'm gonna have to speak for about 2 minutes each time. And I just need to be able to find the content to speak about. That's the only issue. I do not lead a very interesting life. Not am I the most spontaneous person. So I'm going to be struggling with, what you call it? I'm going to be struggling with, just finding stuff to talk about. So I'm trying to go through some of the sample questions and then have like a very, very, very baseline script. Because having to, what do you call it, like having it too scripted is not going to be good either. Because to an extent it is going to be a conversation, not exactly a conversation. They're going to ask me a question and then I'm going to have to respond to the question. And this is my pronunciation that might come back and bite me in the ass. And also me cursing. I really, really need to make sure I don't end up cursing tomorrow. Because if I do curse, I don't think it's going to end well. Yeah, okay. Sounds 607. That's good. Was that the OP? I don't think so. I can't 13 days later. Please don't do it in a second. There's too much of a improvement with the slide. Taking 6.5. I can run to 7, so hey. Speaking, I can say if it helps, I don't know. I'm saying before it got me that 0.5. Maybe I prayed really good, they didn't hear it. They took off the 0.5 off. Questions. I do this as well. Ensuring effective borders that are outside of the long term. If your response is about the terminated one, if you will. If anything could actually indicate position in the long term LR, somebody used in an appropriate way in an appropriate situation. Actually indicate position in LR. Actually used in an appropriate range. So since it was an actual part of your answer, you need to demonstrate the lines on it as part of communication. Literal. Interesting. Oh god, okay. I think for the most part it should be fine. I just have to try and make sure that I don't use a curse word in the answer itself. Yikes. Cut me off and so I could stop and see if we're going to move on to the next question. But it wasn't talking fast enough before it could cut me off, or maybe I thought I should have worked on my lexical a bit more. I do say fuck like that, just really quietly. But Mike will probably pick it up if I do say it, so yikes. Okay. Weak vocabulary, what in the world do you mean? Okay, I'll just have to be very, very careful. Okay. He's your friend. Somebody you met on the street. Examiner, I think it's a bit disrespectful, maybe a bit unprofessional, yes. I'm trying it. Something fine. Something I would upset you. Is that fine? Piss me off. This was really frustrating. Camera, you don't just turn the phones and run curse words, yeah, fair enough. Oh god. Okay, I hit the wrong button. Jesus, okay. Just you, okay. So you should have people gentler than you. Oh, so this how to use English language in the test. This might be an issue as it isn't appropriate. Will slip up. Okay, so that's, it should be fine for the most part, hopefully. Hopefully. Okay. Okay. Coherence and cohesion, let's go these ones. Okay. Coherence and cohesion. Coherence and cohesion. This criterion is concerned with the overall organization and logical development of the message. How the response organizes and links information, ideas, and language. Coherence refers to the linking of ideas to logical sequencing. Cohesion refers to valid and appropriate use of cohesive devices. Logical connectors. I wanted to look up what are some of the usually used cohesive devices. And also as well as to, furthermore, moreover, and in addition, along with, together with, alongside. This along with this, or this together with this, the statement alongside this other statement. You finish the sentence and then start another sentence with furthermore, or again moreover. You can do in addition to this. In addition to this, this is also a very important fact. Okay, something like that. The noun phrase that is somewhere related. Okay. Nothing. And it's vocab challenge. What's this about? What does aspersion mean? Bullshit. Aspersion, an attack on repetition, the reputation. Corpulent. We cannot throw. Fear was disrespectful. Fuck, you know. Okay, fine, whatever. I don't think you can unsubscribe from the shit. Switch to a different Gmail. There it is. Yeah, like vocab is not that big, it's not that good, but well, it's good enough, I think, for the most part. Okay. Yeah, I can delete those. Okay. Yeah, so close that. Sequence information, yeah, emphasizing, oh wait, no, sequencing information. Firstly, secondly, thirdly, and then finally. Condition next. Usually at the beginning of a sentence or a paragraph, for example. Next, we will discuss the methodological research, then we will analyze. After that, we will do something subsequently. Okay. Before, after, during, while. Before we start off, okay, after change. During the meeting, okay. That's driving, he said something, he did something. You know, simultaneously, you know, in the part of the simultaneously working on a vaccine, okay. Emphasizing information. Above all, or most importantly, okay. Especially, particularly, or specifically. Indeed, in fact, actually, indeed, he was one of the best. She's very smart. In fact, she has a PhD. He actually likes broccoli. I like broccoli. I don't know. Contrasting information. You can use cohesive devices to show a contrast or a difference between 2 points or ideas. This can help to make your writing more advanced or more balanced and objective. Some examples of cohesive devices for contrast information are okay. But, however, nonetheless, yes, on the other hand, on the contrary, conversely, although even though spite of okay, that's fine. Item 1, item 2. Okay. That, extra resource. The range of gentle words used uses synonyms to avoid repetition. Yeah. The adequacy and appropriacy of the vocabulary, topic-specific items, indicators of the writer's attitude, precision of word choice and expression, the control and use of collocations, idiomatic expressions and sophisticated phrasing, density and communicative effect of errors in spelling or in word formation. Word formation? Word formation? Well, there should be sentence formation, no? The accuracy of simple, compound, and complex sentences. Density of grammatical errors, accurate and appropriate use of punctuation. Okay. Okay. Let's go back here. Process diagram with a sample answer. Hydroelectric dam. The given diagram shows how electricity is generated by a hydroelectric dam. This is a base 8, band 8. The diagram illustrates the basic principles of hydroelectric power. The process requires the construction of a large dam connected to a powerhouse. Is it a powerhouse? Is that what it's called? I guess so. A powerhouse, okay. First of all, water trapped in the reservoir behind the dam is forced through an intake. It then follows a narrow chamber called a penstock. The resulting high-pressure water turns a turbine. The turbine is connected to a generator in the powerhouse above. And this is where the movement of the turbine gets converted into electricity. Resulting electricity then moves from the powerhouse into the power grid via the use of long-distance power lines. while the water, once it has passed through the turbine, then flows along into a river or another reservoir or any other water body that is present around it. It's interesting to note that hydroelectric dam creates no harmful byproducts and relies entirely on natural forces to produce electricity. After the turbine stage, water flows out into a second channel and into a river. This process is renewable thanks to the water cycle in nature. Interesting. First of all, water trapped in a reservoir behind the dam is forced through an intake. Okay. So the present simple tense. This is something that I should be able to do. The last extra tiny tidbit of information is probably where it'll be good. Byproducts and renewable. Okay. A line graph. Oh boy. Renewable energy, total consumption, major resources. 250 billion BTU. What's BTU? Ability to describe changes over time. This is key skill in line graph tasks. Okay. Choose the consumption of renewable energy. The line graph shows growth in the consumption of renewable energy during the period 1949 up until 2008 in the United States of America. The results are also broken down by source of this energy. The results are also broken down by the sources of the energy source. Okay. The first thing to note is that renewable energy use. Wait, the first thing to note is that renewable energy use more than doubled. Note that the renewable energy usage more than doubled over the period. This does not seem right. That does not feel right. But sure. Renewable energy usage more than doubled over this period, with particularly strong growth for biofuels. Biofuels, that's particularly strong growth? Well, I guess so. The sector did not exist in 1980. Up until 1980, it experienced a steep rise during the 21st century, during the early parts of the 21st century, to over 1 quadrillion BTU per year. This made biofuel a serious challenger to both wood and hydroelectric power. Wind, okay, which both saw limited growth overall. Why did hydroelectric fall off? That seems weird. Not sure. Okay, sure. This plus this. Is that, I guess? This plus this, and this on top of this. Should be that, no? This on top of this. Something like that. Dish on top of dish plus the tiny bit. Okay. The farmer grew steadily between 1975 and 85. 1975 and 85. But then has remained stagnant and also fell back to around 2 quadrillion BTU in the late 1990s. And then 1990s, young keeps going down a little bit. Interesting. Okay, finally, even for immersive life in the period, it has showed a gradual rise to around half a quadrillion BTUs, assuming that alongside biofuels replace wood and hydroelectricity as the main source of renewable energy in the future, ever in the future. This does not seem like an 8 answer to me. I'm not sure I trust this site. Okay, let me look up more. IELTS writing task sample answers. Sharp gives us information on how student traveled from school in the years 1990 and 2010. Modes of transport were car, walking, cycling, and by bus and by bus only. Mechanical data support. Only some of the descriptions. Response also lacks an overview information and items gently arranged coherently, although that is launched towards the end of the response, base advice are used effectively. There's a clear progression overall, the range of vocabulary is both adequate and appropriate, but is accurate. Mention flexibly, not use of less common vocabulary to justify a higher band. There's a bit of simple claims find accurately, but again, there's not wide enough variety of structures to achieve a higher band. Mad by children or something. Eh? Key features cars, no difference to walking in bus category, and that length, and yeah, okay. I don't know, give me some, okay, there we go, some kind of answer. Recently, there have been a lot of discussions about health and whether it's going to improve or not. Okay. This one, the end. And health and whether it's going to improve or not. In my opinion, I think that people will become unhealthier in the future than they are now. E ain't wrong. This is a clear position at the outset and explores some ideas to support this. As was considered but rejected, there's a strong response. There is a rather too much emphasis on technology. Aspects of the proposition could also be considered. This physical work, more sedentary work, greater reliance on cars, maybe as exercise, Asian population, into more complex health issues. Ideas are organized logically, and there is a clear progression throughout the response, with good use of basic devices in logical paragraphing. Many reasons to support the idea of people becoming unhealthy in the future. Firstly, one reason is that of food. People tend to eat more fast food nowadays. They tend to treat themselves with sweets and chocolate whenever they want. This appears to be because people are busier now than they used to be. So people don't have a chance to cook or even learn the art of cookery. Also, and a lot of unhealthy food can lead to obesity and could be a serious issue in the future. Another reason is that technology is developing every day, and people enjoy buying new gadgets and the latest devices. This has a negative effect on their health, especially when they enjoy video games. Spending long hours looking at a screen can lead to bad eyesight and obesity as well. Another reason is that laziness is a big issue, and forms of exercise may disappear in the future because people don't like sports. Most people prefer spending most of their time on the internet, and the internet is growing every single day. Other people may disagree and say that health will improve in the future. They believe that new sports and new ways to exercise will appear in the future. No, I don't think it can happen since the majority of people spend less time outdoors. Moreover, other people believe that technology will try and help people improve their health. For example, there have been some games released on the Wii console to make people exercise, but technology is developing more in a negative way. For instance, in phone industries, developing new applications and today's generation likes to follow every trend. This prevents people to go outside to exercise. This prevents people from going outside to exercise. Like spend more time on the internet, downloading programs, or reading gossip about celebrities. This affects people's health badly. In conclusion, I believe that people's health is affected negatively by fast food, technology, and sport. It will be a problem in the future. Okay. Wait, where's this? There's just one answer. Okay. Let's go here and take off that. Take IELTS. Preparing. Okay. Maybe we should just take a practice test now. What time is it? 11:30. I have time for one practice test or so. Okay. Let me check this. Note completion. Note completion, I'm pretty sure it's the fill in the blank kind of thing, right? Okay. I did that earlier, so that's fine. Hi Beam, welcome in. How's your day going? Sample flowchart completion. Did I finish the flowchart completion? Yeah, we finished that. Sentence completion. No, I don't remember this. Okay. Watch me pause the music. Okay. Ow! Jesus Christ. Okay. Time management. Modules. Summer skills. Give me just a second, Bean. Okay. What the fuck? Okay, I'm so drained, exhausted. Why can't I open today? You should have asked for opening then. Can't do much about it now. You can probably take a nap, no? Just probably, so you still have time. Like you open and you close. No, today you just close, right? Yeah. The main opener. Well, I didn't realize you should need to close. Maybe you should have looked at your schedule then. I don't know what to say. Well, this is a lesson to look at your schedule more often. And not just assume it will always be opening. Which one did I just do? Fuck, I forgot. Shit. Then why didn't you ask to be changed then? If you wanted to change, you should have asked. What did you ask? I don't know. If you did, then you're fucking unlucky, I guess. Can't do much about that. I can do it once schedule's published. That's stupid. That's fucking dumb, eh? That doesn't make sense. What the heck? Which one did you just do? What the fuck? Where is this? Okay, search not that. Open university, this one. Answer key. Motivation, yes. Time management, yes. Modules, yes. Summer school. Okay, perfect. That listening is fine. Did I do the reading test? Okay, let's do this reading. Crowdfunding guidance suggests that companies could consider abolishing pay schemes, allowing pay based on piece rates, increasing pay for older, and equipping older workers with new skills. Okay. The general assumption is that workers are paid more in spite of employment becomes a threat. That part explains why employers are under pressure. Cut costs, persuade with fail to take an early retirement, take away seniority-based pay scales. Older workers may become much more of an attractive employment proposition. Older workers may become much more of an attractive employment proposition. Most employers, and mainly workers, are uncomfortable that it's reducing someone's pay in later life, while the manual workers on piece rates often earn less when they get older. So retaining the services of older workers may mean applying them in different ways. Companies could consider what do they want to. take away seniority-based pay scales. Fuck, I shouldn't have a timer on, goddammit. Okay, let me do a 15, or let's just do a 10-minute timer. No, not the timer. Perfect. I'll keep the timer there. Why publishing pay schemes that are based on age? Yes. A skill team. As an example of a company, or a skill team. Here. When innovations do IBM Belgium, because they need to cut staff costs, they decided to concentrate cuts on 55 and 60-year-olds. IBM set up a company called Skill Team, which re-employed any of the early retired, wanted to go on working up until the age of 60. An employee who joined Skill Team at the age of 55 on a 5-year contract could work for 58% of his time over the full period, or 88% of his last IBM salary. The company offered services to IBM, allowing it to retain access to some of the intellectual capital it would have otherwise lost. Offer was people to continue working? No. Was expertise to be put to use? Yes. According to the writer, bridge jobs. The best way to tempt the old to go on working, maybe to build on such bridge jobs, part-time and temporary employment that create a more gradual transition from full-time work to retirement. So we found that in industries, nearly half of all men and women who had been full-time in the middle age move on to such bridge jobs at the end of their working lives. In general, it is the best paid and worst paid who carry on working. There's going to be two very different types of bridge job holders who continue working because they have to, and those who continue working because they want to. They could afford to retire. To interact people in middle salary ranges, no. Better paid, no. Originator, no. Are the distinct groups of older workers, yes. And then David Story's study. The job market grows more flexible, though we find more jobs that suit them. Often they'll be self-employed. Sometimes they may start their own businesses. A study by David Story at Warwick found that in Britain, 70% of businesses started by people over 55 survived, compared to an overall national average of 19%. But whatever pattern of employment they chose, in the upcoming years, the skills of these career workers will have increasingly acknowledged and rewarded. That people demand more of their work, and older people are running their own businesses. I guess so. What is the answer key for this? Abolishing pay schemes, yes. Those expertise to be put to use, yes. Appeals, yes. Older people are running businesses, okay, perfect. It will take me 7-ish minutes, that's fine. It's not too bad. Not too bad. Is this the same thing? No. Okay, let's do 7 minutes. Because live in older people with physical work, age may affect the productivity, but other skills may increase with age, including many that are crucial for good management, such as ability to handle. I should read the questions first. What two advantages are mentioned by the writer of the text? The advantages of employing older workers, okay. Stage. Crucial management, such as okay. Spot a problem if it was architects who coordinates OECD work. Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, okay. Implications of aging, so that plenty of research on old people are paid more because they work more. We can predict areas that may cause trouble in the future, probably. More skilled in personal, yes, kind of. You deal with unexpected problems. Which two advantages? Simply to handle people diplomatically, to warn a meeting or to spot a problem before it blows up. I think it is these two. Okay, let's look at the next question. This below gives us some disadvantages of employing younger workers. The virtues of the younger may be exaggerated. A few companies that have kept on old workers find they have good judgment and their productivity is good. Those in book on reputation, besides, the education standards are much better than those of today's young high school graduates. Companies may say older workers are not worth training because they are reaching the end of their working lives. In fact, young people tend to switch jobs so frequently that they offer the worst returns on training. Median age for employer-driven training is late 40s and early 50s, and the training goes mainly to managers. They do not stay for too long. They're too confident. No, they enjoy. No, their training has been too theoretical. Is that it? What did they say? Judgment and effectivity is good. Designs are much better than those education standards. I guess it's probably that. I say unexpected problems, personal, same company for too long. Okay. Let's look at the answer key for that. You can predict areas that make us fuck. I chose the wrong thing and I changed. Damn it. Okay. Do not stay, they're not as well educated, yeah. Okay. In reading comprehension. The reading comprehension always trips me up for some fucking reason. We have 4 minutes. Okay. Mercury is probably the most infamous or most famous woman scientist who's ever lived. Born Maria Sklodowska in Poland. Marie Curie's husband was a joint winner of both Mary's Nobel Prizes. She's famous for her radioactivity, won twice with her husband, and then Henry was a sole winner. Okay, so that's false. Mary became interested in science when she was a child. First memory at 16 she won it. Okay, same. She went to take as teacher. The promise was fulfilled, and Mary went to Paris and studied in Sorbonne. Wait, in 1891, so no. Has she been? I don't think so. But it must mean she had to take on work as a teacher. It's not given. Mary was able to attend Sorbonne because of her sister's financial contribution. Yes, I think. True. False, not given, and true. That's what I say. Let's see what the answer is. False, not given, true. Yes! Okay, we got that. Let's look at the next one, which is note completion. Jesus Christ, this is big. Okay. When uranium was discovered to be reactive, Marie Curie found that the element called something had the same property. Marie Curie. Imagine Marie Curie and Pierre and Marie. Okay, thorium. So this is thorium. Thorium. Okay, I'll keep the music on. Okay. There's something on screen other than just my voice. Okay, Marie Curie research into radioactivity of the mineral known as dash led to the discovery of 2 new elements. Ooh, okay. Pitch blend. This is probably pitch blend. Pitch blend. Okay, yes, Marie Curie received recognition for the work on the element 1911. Let's find 1911 here. 1911. For isolation of radium. Okay, work on the element radium. Developed X-radiography, which is used as a medical technique. Okay, X-radiography. Open up using mobile units known as little curies to get rid of. One word answer. What? Developed X-radiography, which is used as a medical technique for what? That doesn't say. Okay, we'll leave that. We'll go on to the next. So the importance of collecting medical material both for research and for the cases of the importance of for research and for the cases of illness. Fine, okay. That's fine. I know what, I'll pause it for now. In cases of treatment in one word only. What the hell? Which is used as a medical technique for soldiers, I'm guessing, probably. Soldiers, okay. Medicuri. This is intense radioactive resources. Treat illness, but also for an abundance subject for research. Okay. Given discoveries of the neutron, I think, right? 1930 was which one was it? It was artificial reactivity. The neutron. Okay, let's check the answers for that. Thorium, bisphenol, radium, soldiers, illness, and neutron. Okay, we got that. Soldiers, illness, and neutron. Okay, we got all of that. Perfect. That's good. Let's move on to the next one, and we'll start the timer. Introducing dung beetles into a pasture is a simple process. Approximately 1,500 beetles are released to handwrite no more than 3 words. With no more than 3 words from the text for each answer. For each species is French, Spanish, and South African ball roller. Preferred climate. Okay. We need to find the preferred climate for the Spanish. Most species are from France. Okay, different exhaustion shape, car. The shallow stars belong to a much smaller tree. Big narrow tones. Okay, some superficial beetles have perfectly shaped balls. Now attached to the base of plants. Okay. For the maximum summer and autumn, farmers require variety of species. It's matched with smaller temperature climate. Hey? What? For maximum dung burial in the spring, summer and autumn, farmers require a variety of species with overlapping periods of activity. In the cooler environments of the state of Victoria, the large French species is matched with temperate climate. Oh, temperate climate. Preferred climate. That's temperate. Temperate climate, sure. Okay. The farmer is slow to recover from the winter cold, produce 1 or 2 generations. The latter are to multiply rapidly in early spring, produce annually. Being a subtropical, prefers the climate of the northern coastal New South Wales, where it commonly works. The South African tunneling species. In warmer climates, many species are active for longer periods. I'm guessing that's warm. Or subtropical. Subtropical. Wait, I remember this. I remember seeing something about these South African ball roller. Where's this thing? The South African tunneling species. South African tunnel. South African tunneling. Tunneler. S tunneler or double L? Or single L? Okay, single L. Fuck was that? I don't know. Anyway, start the active period for the Spanish. Spanish, or is it Spanish? In early spring, so this is early spring. Number of generations is what, 4 to 5, I think, per year? I just read that shit. 2 to 5. 2 to 5. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this because I don't think I'll remember all of that shit. Okay. Next. Table completion. Okay, let's pull this over here. Temperate, yes. Subtropical, yes. South African tunneling, okay. Early spring, 2 to 5, okay, perfect. Oh, that is right. Share to where? What time is it? 11:50. Okay, when should I go to bed? Maybe like 2-ish. I should probably go to bed at like 1, I think. I'll sleep for like 6 hours, so it should be fine. I'll be at 8. When is the actual timing? Let me check the actual timing. Where's the second thing? There you go. Speaking test is... Okay, November 22nd, which should be tomorrow. Okay, that is tomorrow. Saturday. It is 20. Okay, tomorrow is the Saturday, 22nd November. Perfect. I'll be there at 10:40. No, it starts at 10:40. I have to be there at least 20 minutes before. Okay, so I think if I leave at 10, it should be fine. Besides, too far away from this place. Now that I think, let me check Google Maps. Okay, yeah. It is pretty close. Let's do that. That's 2 kilometers of it. Okay. 5 minutes with no traffic. It's fucking stupid that I have to go this far, dude. Like, you know. I had to go an extra 0.8 kilometers just to get there. That's fucking stupid. That's just annoying. That is just annoying. Okay. Is this the building that I think it is? I actually don't know. Can I do street view? Okay, where's this building? Okay, it's over there. I think, okay, it is the building that I know of. Perfect. I did not know this was there in the building though. Okay. Zoom in. Doesn't say that either. Okay, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. It's fine. Okay. I know where it is. I know where it is. I just have to get there. Okay, so we finished that. It'll probably take like 20 minutes max, so it'll be done at 11. I'll have an hour to spend. And then go back in at 12:15. It ends at 12:45. It starts at 1, and then 3 hours, I think. How long is this fucking thing? An hour for... I think it's everything is an hour. No, it might be 2.5 hours actually. An hour for reading, an hour for writing. And I think 30 minutes for listening. Something like that. Okay, so... let me come back to that. I wanted to check something. What did I want to check? Okay, IELTS time. No, so let's just do format. Listening test is 30 minutes. 30 minutes and 40 questions. Jesus, okay. And honestly, I don't really need extra time for listening. Because once it's gone, it's gone. I can't even re-listen to the fucking conversation that they're gonna have. Just stupid. I think that's just stupid. I think it has to be done at least twice. I don't know, it just feels weird that just once. Yeah. It's general training, I thought so. Where's the academic one? There's general training, listening. Where's the academic listening? There's academic, speaking, general training. What the fuck? Okay. Well, this is going to be 2.5 hours. Pretty much. Plus 10 minutes transfer time. What the fuck is 10 minutes transfer time? I don't know what these terms mean, but sure. Reading is an R. I think reading might be the one that I struggle with timing. I'll try and do a writing test now. I think that's probably what I should be doing. Yeah, I'll finish one writing and then reading I can continue tomorrow too. Then I can ask ChatGPT to try and give me the score for it. Open up ChatGPT. Delete. Okay. Let us get a random heading or a random question. Then we'll do the test. I'll pick one of these ones. Practice just one. Practice just where is this? Let's just do one. Where's this writing prompt? Where's the writing prompt? Writing prompt, writing prompt. Okay. The pie chart, okay, okay, I'll set up a timer. Give me this 20-minute timer. Okay, we'll start the timer. And then I have to write. Okay, I need to give me pause the timer. I need to pause the timer. Timer pause. I need to find some like a notepad that does not have spell checking stuff. Fuck, you know, man. Oh, there's no spell check. Okay, perfect. That's exactly what you need. And there's a word counter too. Perfect. Okay. Everything that I need. Let us look at the question. That's the question. Here. The pie chart below shows the distribution of students by gender. Oh no, timer. What's the timer? Continue the timer. Keep the timer there, so it's fine. Summarize information by selecting and recording the main features and make comparisons where relevant. Okay, let me do that like that. Do that there, go there. Okay, perfect. The given pie chart tells us the distribution of students by gender and also first measure by gender while the second set of the charts shows the distribution by the subject they are studying in the year in 2020. This is 2020 in 2020. We can see the that the male population in the university is very slightly higher than the female population at 52. At 52% compared to 48. Secondly, you see that there is a major difference in the subjects that the male and female students prefer to study. The engineering is the most popular subject among the male students at 40%, while it is the least mostly among versus amongst usage. It's the least. It is the most popular subject among a student, while it is the least Notice the least among the female students. With 40%. Studying it. Well, that contrary, it is the least popular among female students. Just 10% through engineering. Business, on the other hand, is much more closely is much more. I need more synonyms for popular. Or no. Synonyms for popular. Favored, admired, accepted roles, sought after, in demand. Yes. More equally favored by both the genders. But yeah, that's engineering. It's business. 20 and 15, 15 and 15, 25, 15 and 5. Male students. Right? At 20% of the male students and 25% of the female students. Sorry, next we have arts and humanities. Arts and humanities. Wait, engineering, business, arts and humanities. There, you see that. There is a small, or there's a larger proportion. A larger proportion of female students studying of female students at the proportion of female students studying at Engineering, Business, Arts and Humanities. Famous ones are 20%. Well, 15% of male students. Prefer Jeez, I need more synonyms. Come on, give me more synonyms. Favor. Or demand, desire. I'm already more than 160 words. I don't know, man. Okay. 15% of the male students. Only 15% of male students. Students like it. Are pursuing it. Okay, that's done. Then we have science. Now, looking at the subject of science, you can see that both students of both genders the percentage of students of either gender who are we look at science, we can see that the percentage of students of both genders is equal at percentage of students of both genders of either gender is equal at 15%. Okay, after science, and then we have education. Second, looking at but education is very heavily preferred, maybe, and we can see that education is very preferred by the female populace. Compared to the male 17%. Students studying it versus just 5% of the male students. Students, is it a 5% of male students studying it? Similarly, page of the male students. And failure. Other subjects compared to just only 5% of male students. On the whole, you can see that the female students are more well spread amongst all the subjects, provided while the male students are more to study if you select while the majority of consumers study if you select subjects. Okay, just copy this. 265. This is a lot of words. I don't know. Okay. Hey, can you score this based on the IELTS scoring? IELTS academic scoring criteria for the writing task 1 response. The essay in quotes. Okay, we're able to finish it in 30 minutes, which is good. Let's see what ChatGPT tells us. A 6, sir? Jesus Christ, this is bad, okay. Yes, please do. A bad 9 response. We might be fucked for tomorrow then. Aye. Can I write a nice Response for 50 words. And 70 to 190. How many words is that response? Can you give me a 9 response with 180 words? The first pie chart represents gender distribution of female students, while the second set compares subjects studied by male and female students. Overall, the university had a nearly equal number of men and women, but their academic preferences differed noticeably. Male students were concentrated in few subjects, whereas female students were more evenly spread across the available fields. Men made up 52% of the student body, slightly more than the 48% represented by women. The most significant contrast appears in engineering, studied by 40% of men, only 10% of women. Business attracted similar proportions, with 20% of male and 25% of female choosing this subject. Female students were more strongly represented in arts and humanities and education. The former accounted for 20% of women compared to 15% of men, while education showed an even wider gap at 15% versus only 5%. Science was the only subject with equal participation. Okay, 15%. Somebody with gender representation was balanced overall. Subject was varied widely between male and female. Damn, okay, that is pretty good. Shit. Fuck, man, okay. Okay. Actually, if I can get right close to timers. Time is 12:30? Okay. I don't know, man. I don't know. We might be screwed tomorrow. I'll do 1 writing task, 2 response. Let's see how that goes. Okay, some people think that the best way to solve the problem of air pollution in cities is to increase the cost of vehicle fuel. Others think that different measures should be taken. Discuss both views and give your own opinion. Your reason for your answer include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. Okay. Oh shit, our timer should have already started. I have to keep in mind. I've taken 5-ish minutes more. Today I drank a coffee and the coffee has done fucking nothing. It's insane. And nobody's fucking immune to caffeine now. I don't know, dude. I don't fucking know. What time is it? You can call somebody or something. I kinda want to just be called with somebody. It's fine, fuck it. We'll deal with it later. Okay, some people think the best way to solve air pollution. Interesting. The best way to reduce air pollution is to increase the cost of vehicle fuel. Others think that different measures can be taken to do the same. I personally think that if the price of fuel was to be increased, no other complementary action taking place, the resulting scenario would have too many cons compared to its pros to implement successfully in society. If the price of fuel were to only go up, then fewer people will be able to afford it. They will afford it enough of it for their daily needs. Although this may just be convenience. What's convenience for them? Convenience. For some, it could affect the livelihood of a part of the populace. It could negatively affect the livelihood of a part of the populace. Not have to travel a long distance. You might have long commutes to reach their place of employment. Could very seriously Seriously. It could. It could be terribly. Nicholas may have long commutes to reach the place of employment. Although this convenience for some could naturally affect the part of the process, the price of fuel has already been a kind of contention. With the fuel or the increase in the price of fuel, so we're not going to convention. With just inflation affecting it. Exactly. Might be quite difficult to implement this plan in today's society. Wait, in today's, is it an apostrophe S? Apostrophe S. My calls in today's society. I think it's an apostrophe S. Shit. Today's society. Okay, I think it's apostrophe S. Okay, good, I was right. It might also be quite difficult to implement this plan in today's society. That's the increase in the price of fuel. Already the increase in the price of fuel, tension, increase in the price of fuel due to inflation. Already been a point of inflation already being a kind of contention. Already being a kind of contention. As the price of fuel were to increase in fuel, people would be able to, not will be, people would be able to afford enough profit for the daily needs. Although this could just be, there we go. This could just be an inconvenience for some. Okay. It very well could negatively affect the livelihood of a part of the populace who have long-term histories of self-employment. It can also be difficult to implement this in today's society because of price. The increase in the price of fuel, and inflation already being a point of contention. I think that increasing synonym. I think that a rise in the price could be a rise in the price could be a good, be a solid part of a multi-step plan to reduce the consumption of fuel. For example, the government would have to ensure that public transport at a public transportation infrastructure is well equipped to handle the imminent increase in usage if the surge in usage and that is and at the network has spread throughout the major hubs of the city, hubs of a city. The transportation, widespread and well connected. Color measure. What? Good. And with the reduction of vehicles on the road, which in turn will reduce the fuel used. Yes, the introduction of carpool lanes on major roads and highways. F. Employers also along with this intro along with the if employers were to promote carpooling amongst their employees, it could be a proficient strategy to improve the air quality in cities. Carpooling and the usage of public transport requires to be a different strategy to improve air quality in cities. Other larger companies could also introduce and subsidize methods of transportation, such as a company bus that follows a set route on the set route that is drawn based on the majority, based on the residency, based on the set route. Shared transportation. There's no size modes of shared transportation, such as a company bus, and follows a set route throughout the major localities of A. In this way, I think that although increasing prices, increasing the price of fuel in and of itself would not be a good measure to implement. It could be a good addition to other measures like carpooling, shared transport, and shared transportation. This is also probably going to be a 6. I don't think that this was well written. Can you score this as a response to the IELTS writing task 2? The question of people think the best way to solve the problem of our pollution in cities. Still increase the cost of vehicle fuel. Others think that different measures should be taken. Fuck's sake. Okay, let's see how well this does. 6.5, eh? Some of them say, yeah, I thought so. Per population, cost price. Correct, but the phrasing is awkward. What the fuck do you mean phrasing is awkward, ChatGPT? Not necessarily wrong, but loosely connected. Fair enough. Can you give me a band 9 response and also revise this exact essay and highlight the changes being made? 6.5. I believe it's not constitutional effect air pollution in urban areas, well, fuel costs and lower consumption. To some extent, this measure alone is insufficient. A comprehensive strategy that includes investment in public transportation and payroll incentives would be far more effective. Raising fuel prices could discourage unnecessary car use, particularly for short, non-essential trips. Or for people, especially those who live far from city centers, driving is not a choice but a necessity. Fucking hell, I need to learn how to write like this. This is very good writing. Increasing fuel costs by providing viable alternatives would impose a disproportionate financial burden on low and middle-income commuters, potentially worsening social inequality. Low fuel prices in many cities are already rising due to inflation, making additional increases politically and socially impractical. A more effective solution is to reduce dependence on private vehicles by improving accessibility and reliability of public transport, expanding metro networks, increasing bus frequency, and ensuring last-mile connectivity would make make public transport a more attractive option. Governments can also encourage carpooling, introducing dedicated lanes and offering tax benefits to companies that promote shared transportation among employees. In addition, developing cycling infrastructure and pedestrian-friendly streets can reduce short-distance car usage in country. True. I should have thought about that. In conclusion, while higher fuel prices may contribute marginally to reducing air pollution, they are not a sustainable standalone solution. A multifaceted approach that prioritizes improved public transport or carpooling alternative modes of travel is far more likely to produce long-term environmental benefits. Okay. Strikes removed are corrected, comments and parentheses if needed, bold is added or improved. Okay. Can be taken instead to the user. Okay, fair enough. I personally think that the fuel price, if the fuel price were to be increased, without any complementary measures. Is that not what I said? Okay, whatever. Resulting scenario, resulting outcome, have too many disadvantages. Disadvantages compared to potential benefits to be implemented successfully. People will be able to afford the amount they require for daily commuting. Fair enough. Although this could be a minor inconvenience for certain individuals, it could negatively affect the livelihood of a significant portion of the population, especially those who have long commutes. To reach their place of employment might also be difficult to implement the plan in today's society, with the recent rise in fuel prices due to inflation already being a point of contention. I think a rise in the price would serve as a solid part of the multi-step plan to reduce overall reliance on fuel. For example, the government would have to ensure, that's fine. Another measure that could help reduce the number of vehicles on the road. In turn, would reduce, which in turn would reduce fuel consumption, the production of carpooling, and measures. Along with this, if employers actively promote carpooling and usage of public transport, it could be a highly effective strategy to improve air quality in cities. Other larger companies could also introduce and subsidize forms of shared transportation, such as company buses that follow a set route throughout the major localities of a city. In this way, I think that although increasing the price of fuel on its own would not be a sufficient measure, it could be a useful addition to other measures like carpooling and shared transportation. An effective strategy, fair enough. Can you give me a list of common vocab upgrades, please? Most of informal is good as beneficial, effective, advantageous, yes. That detrimental, harmful, counterproductive. Big, significant, substantial, considerable, small, minor, minimal, negligible. Okay. Many, numerous, a wide range of, a large proportion of. Very important, crucial, essential, fundamental. not important, trivial, significant, insignificant. Change, transformation, reform, modify. Yes. Address, resolve, rectify, cause, need to, device to, trigger, make, generate, create, produce. A problem, an issue which having a concern exacerbates the situation. Hard to do, difficult to implement, challenging to achieve. Not enough, insufficient, inadequate, matter of people. Harmful to individuals, detrimental to the public. Give help. Provide support, offer assistance. Solve, attempt to address, seek to resolve. Fix a viable solution or practical intervention. So when you believe that it's a growing concern that a significant proportion of the population is essential to acknowledge, this approach is unlikely to produce long-term benefits. A multifaceted strategy is required to effectively tackle the issue. Critics argue that proponents of this view claim that this highlights the importance of something like that. I am not sure about tomorrow. The intro and conclusion templates, please. Balance, discuss both views, paraphrase the topic, state that there are different opinions and give your position. Okay. Tend to strongly agree. Paraphrase the statement, clearly state that you're agreeing or disagreeing, briefly mention your reasons, no details. Problem solution introduction. Discuss the problem, state the importance, explain what they say will do. Urgent attention because this is able to examine the main causes of the problem and propose effective solutions. Rephrase the prompt, acknowledge both sides, give your final stance. The question of whether offers more advantages or disadvantages has become increasingly relevant. Although there are several benefits to this approach, significant drawbacks must also be considered. I believe that blah 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 blah. Okay. Conclusion. Summarize the main argument. Restate your position strongly. An optional final thought. In conclusion, although the opposition may offer some benefits, the drawbacks are far more significant. Therefore, I firmly believe that blank future efforts should focus on that. I'm starting to get a headache. I think I should go to sleep soon. Discuss both views, summarize both sides, state your judgment. Problem solution conclusion. We emphasize the seriousness of the problem, summarize solutions, and the prediction or recommendation. We emphasize the seriousness of the problem, to alleviate the issue. Governments and individuals act promptly so significant progress can be achieved. Advantages to state both sides exist, final evaluation. Okay, that's something. Okay, I need to find like high band answers that I can read to just get my vocab up and just just get my general, like, structural knowledge up. That was good. I'll try to remember that for later. Listening is meh. Academic reading and writing. Reading is meh. Speaking, I should probably check more of the speaking prompts. And if possible, listen to some people speak. Maybe I can do that now. Maybe I'll watch some IELTS speaking videos on YouTube. Like 10-15 minutes or something. Where's this? Is it this thing? Okay. I'll put the Burlington back in. I'll close that. This thing. Okay, this I will save this link. Okay, I need to remember, I'll be doing my speaking first, so I should be focusing on my speaking for the most part for now. And then we can do the things after. I also know, so I'll have like an hour after speaking. Well, we're waiting for the the rest of the test to start. Okay, we'll open this up, we'll watch this video. Let me... fuck all of this shit, I'll check it out. I should be able to find them later. Tomorrow, if needs be. Burlington. I should be able to do this on my phone too, so I'll keep this. Hopefully I'm able to do it on my phone, if not, fuck me. Username is that and that. I'll close that, and this is fine. What time is it? Okay, I'll spend like 20 minutes-ish, and then I'll close. Let me check the link. No, fuck it, not you. Yeah, so I can practice this. Okay, I'll close that. I'll close Burlington, and then, okay. Let me switch to video. I'll pause music. Then switch to browser. Switch to browser there. Get rid of the food break. Oh shit. To browser. IELTS. Ah, there we go.
Answer is yes, you're in the right place.
16-minute video. I'll speed this shit up.
Hello and welcome. My name is Tom, and in this British Council IELTS preparation video, I'm going to be sharing my top tips to prepare you for the IELTS speaking test. Now, let's be honest, the IELTS speaking test can be nerve-wracking, even for the most confident students. But with the right strategies and practice, you'll be ready to shine on test day. I've got a collection of tips and tricks that I want to share with you. So, let's get started. Firstly, let's look at an overview of what the test involves and what to expect on test day. Your speaking test will be done face-to-face with an examiner, and it will be recorded. The test lasts 11 to 14 minutes, and there are 3 parts. In part 1, you are asked a set of general questions about familiar topics like education or family. This lasts 4 to 5 minutes. In part 2, you must give a 1 to 2 minute talk on a particular topic that will be provided for you. And finally, in part 3, you'll be asked questions on issues related to the previous topic for 4 to 5 minutes. Here are some important things to know. The examiner will share all the information you need at the beginning of the test. The purpose of the speaking test is to create as close to real-life situations as possible. That means you should relax and see the test as an opportunity to showcase your English speaking skills. It's like having a coffee and a chat with a friend. The test is the same for IELTS academic and IELTS general training test takers. Let's take a moment to understand what examiners are looking for. You'll be marked on 4 categories: fluency and coherence. How well can you speak at a natural pace and manage to connect your thoughts and ideas together in a clear way? Lexical resource. This is your ability to use a wide range of vocabulary to express your ideas and opinions clearly and accurately. Grammatical range and accuracy. This is your ability to use a wide range of grammatical structures to help you express your ideas with as few mistakes as possible. Pronunciation. This is your ability to communicate your ideas using clear, meaningful utterances and appropriate rhythm and stress timing. Let me say this now. You aren't being judged on your accent. IELTS is an unbiased language proficiency test, and examiners don't favour any accent. What truly matters is that you communicate clearly and use precise vocabulary. Selected results are marked twice to ensure that wherever you take your test, your scoring is reliable and consistent. let's dig a little deeper into part 1 and look at a few useful tips you might want to use. Here's an example set of questions you might be asked on test day.
Okay, let's see. Introduction and interview. Examiner frame. As part of the test, begins with the examiner introducing himself or herself, checking the candidate's identification, and then continues as an interview. Let's talk about your town or village. What kind of a place is it? What is the most interesting part of your town or village? What kind of jobs do the people in your town or village do? Would you say it's a good place to live, and why? Okay. Let me look up something about my place. Let me open up something else. Okay, what? Need to look at my phone. Manchester or something, dude. Okay. Okay. What's the most interesting part of your town or village? The most interesting part of your town or village. I think for this I will continue to say the people and the culture that the people here follow. What kind of jobs do the people in your town or village do? I think currently there are a wide range of jobs that the people in Kwanzaa do. Because it is, well, what can you do for this out? Because it has a plethora of industries here. Kwanzaa has now become a hub for the IT industry. It has always been a hub for textile manufacturing. It's also now starting to become a hub for healthcare and education. We have quite a few very good universities and colleges spread out across Kwanzaa. And are quite popular throughout the state, if not the country. So there are many jobs arising in IT, in education, in healthcare, and also in many more of the blue-collar kind of jobs. There's agriculture, mill workers, textile manufacturers, automobile manufacturers, and all of those things. What would you say is a good place to live? I would say it's a good place to live because of how quiet it is, and again, about how nice the people are here. You could start any random person on the street and ask them for some form of help, and they most likely will help you. When I speak from personal experience, that is not the case in other cities, even in India. I've had to ask other people for help, and they just no one that kept moving on with their day. So, Oh yeah, I think I very much so prefer being in my city. Okay, to know the kind of accommodation you live in. How long have I lived here? What do you think about living here? And what sort of accommodation do you most like to live in? Okay. I think that's fine.
4 about your hometown and a few more about accommodation. We'll look at more topics in a moment, but first, let's think about how to approach this task. As I mentioned before, think of this as an informal chat with a friend. This is not the moment to be shy and quiet. This is your chance to showcase your English to the examiner. Simple but developed answers are what's required here. Don't give one-word responses or shrug your shoulders and say, I'm not sure. Equally, don't start waffling or talking too much without any focus. Try to give a few sentences about the topic, and with practice, you'll find the sweet spot. One mistake I'd like you to avoid is trying to overcomplicate your answer with vocabulary and grammar that doesn't fit the question. In the past, I've seen students try to squeeze pre-prepared phrases and particularly complex grammar structures into their answers, and it either sounded very clunky and out of place, or they made big, glaring errors that brought down their score. What's the most interesting part of your town or village? What a wonderful question, and one that I think about since a child. May I say it's an honor to come from such a key zone of agriculture. Furthermore, they have many old edifices and historical places. Firstly, let's approach this question in a more natural way. Have you been thinking about this question since you were a child? Probably not. So let's answer it naturally. One of the most interesting things about my town is the topic of hometown is a fairly common one. So it's perfectly reasonable to think about how you describe it as part of your preparation. For example, you might want to say traditional architecture rather than old edifices. In the question, the examiner asked for one interesting thing. So instead of listing things, it's much better to expand and develop your answer. In this case, the traditional architecture. Our issue with sounding natural again rears its head with, may I say it's an honor. It comes across as unnatural and pre-prepared. So think about what you say to a friend in this situation. Let's see if we can craft a more natural answer. One of the most interesting things about my town is the stunningly beautiful architecture, which dates back to the 16th century. Tourists come from miles away to do architectural walking tours of the medieval town centre, and there was even a campaign to make it a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The truth of the matter is, each question is designed to give you an opportunity to speak about a certain topic and use certain vocabulary and grammar to do so. For example, in question 6, how long have you lived there? We'd naturally use a mixture of present perfect and present perfect continuous, with maybe a little bit of past simple. I've been living there for about 6 years now. I moved to the area in 2018. Then in question 8, what sort of accommodation would you most like to live in? Provides an opportunity to use conditional structures. If I had all the money in the world, I'd love to live in a huge high-rise building, maybe in the penthouse suites. So don't panic and start cramming complex grammar in where it just doesn't belong. Relax and let the question guide the language you use in your answer. Right, here are a list of the possible topics you might be asked. Family, hobbies, work, studies, going out, hometown, computers, music, leisure time, daily routine, birthdays, names, flowers, gardens and parks, clothes, dictionaries, mobile phones, pets, TV, internet, weather, transport, friends, childhood, and newspapers. Now, an approach I recommend using to prepare for this task is to focus your effort on learning topic-specific vocabulary, so that if and when a topic comes up in the test, you'll have a bank of vocabulary ready at your disposal. For example, if we take leisure time, you might want to think about some verb-noun collocations for activities, like do yoga, do exercise, do karate, or go jogging, go swimming, go hiking, or play tennis, play football, play cricket. Or if you have a specific leisure activity that you'd like to talk about, you might want to think of some familiar vocabulary related to it. So, for example, if you love gardening, you could learn specific gardening verbs like to plant, to rake, to water, to prune, to pick, to fertilize. All right, let's move on to part 2. In part 2, you are given a task card and asked to speak about a topic for 1 to 2 minutes. The task card will look something like this. In order to speak for 1 to 2 minutes without interruption, you'll need to use your preparation.
Okay, describe something you own which is very important to you, where you got it from, how long you had it, and what you use it for. I will talk about the topic for 1 to 2 minutes. You have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say. You can make notes if you wish. Is it valuable in terms of money? Would it be easy to replace? I think for this question I will stick with my answer of the IKEA toolbox I have. Yeah.
Preparation time wisely. You'll get a minute, so briefly note down some ideas and make a clear plan for what you want to say. Let's look at this question in more detail. So, we have to describe something you own that is very important to you, and you must mention these 3 things. Where you got it from, how long you've had it, and what you use it for. Use the points on the task card as a springboard for your talk. You don't need to mention them all, but they can help you with some ideas for what you want to say. Now, a question often asked is, can I make up stories and information in the test? And the short answer is yes. But isn't it much easier to use a true story that you already know, rather than having the stress of trying to make up details on the spot? Remember, you aren't being marked on the quality of your story. You're being assessed on your English skills. So, go with something authentic that you already know. If you haven't practiced enough speaking for up to 2 minutes uninterrupted, you could dry up before the examiner stops you. So it's probably a good idea to get yourself used to doing it as much as you can. Think of it as like training for a marathon. You don't just turn up on race day and say, I'm ready to run. You build it up over time. Perhaps your first step could be taking a practice question like this one and writing out your answer on paper. Formulate what you'd like to say and lay it all out. Then when you're ready, use your phone to record yourself saying it. Describe a crowded place that you've been to. You should say where it was, when you went there, and who you were with. Your second step could be to take another practice test and use the 1 minute preparation time to collect some ideas together. But this time, don't write it all out in full sentences, just notes. The difference is, I want you to try and speak for 20 seconds on the topic. That's it. We aren't trying to run a marathon just yet. Speak for 20 seconds and record yourself. For step 3, you could repeat the process and try to build it up to 30 seconds of speaking. Step 4, you could build it up to 40 seconds, and so on. Nobody runs a marathon immediately. You need to build up your strength and stamina like a top athlete.
Nope, we're running a marathon tomorrow.
Voice recorders are amazing tools to help us practice our speaking skills, especially pronunciation and fluency. If you're lucky enough to have an English-speaking friend, colleague, or teacher who can give you feedback, even better. I'd actually love to know in the comments below, have you ever used voice recorders to practice your spoken English? Share your thoughts and experiences.
Nope.
Please don't worry if the examiner stops you after 1 minute. That's perfectly normal. I'm often asked, will I get a lower mark if the examiner stops me during the speaking test? The simple answer is no, you won't. In fact, there are 2 main reasons why examiners interrupt candidates. The first is the timing. The timing of the IELTS test is very strict. The individual long turn in part 2 can last a maximum of 2 minutes. Your examiner has to stop you at the end of the 2 minutes, even if you're in the middle of a sentence. The other reason why examiners interrupt is to ask different questions. To get a good speaking score, you need to show that you can talk about many different topics and answer many different questions. If you spend too much time talking about one question or discussing one topic, you won't have enough time to talk about other things. So, in parts 1 and 3, the examiner may interrupt you to help you use more vocabulary, discuss different issues, and use different English skills. So, don't worry if your examiner interrupts you. Answer the question and keep on talking. They will then ask you a few follow-up questions on the topic of your talk. Okay, let's move on to our final part. In the last part of the test, you'll be given a set of questions that relate to the topic in part 2. This is an opportunity to expand your ideas and show the examiner that you can speak clearly and fluently. Now, you won't have time to prepare for the questions, but you can use a structure to help you answer them. Answer the question, give reasons, give examples. Let's take this question. What's your opinion about the way languages are taught in schools? Okay, so I'm going to try and use this structure to organize my answer. Answer the question. In my experience, the UK has always struggled to provide high-level language instruction in schools. The reasons? There could be a number of reasons for this. Traditionally, we've tended to use rote learning as the main way to teach, which can be boring and monotonous. We also tend to be too exam-focused, rather than helping students understand the wider benefits of learning a second language.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For example, many students are never told about the benefits of learning a language. Let's say you're learning French. Wouldn't it be great if you were told that you can use this language to understand French films or chat to locals on a trip to Paris? We were never given a why. This simple method keeps our answer focused and helps us structure what we want to say. Before we go on, let me take a moment to tell you all about the IELTS Ready Member. It's a free resource developed by the British Council, model answers, and with some words that you need to hear. If you have any negative feelings about the speaking test, that's totally understandable. It can be scary and nerve-wracking. However, I want you to reframe it as an opportunity to show off your English. Let me take you back to 2017. I had to give a best man speech at a wedding and a eulogy at a funeral in the space of a week, and I was terrified. The thought of standing in front of all those people and speaking in public was my idea of a nightmare. But then I heard a great piece of advice that helped me reframe everything. It said that you should see speaking in public as a privilege. And I thought about this and I realized how true it was. How lucky I was to be able to stand up in front of hundreds of people and share my stories and anecdotes with them. To have an audience willing to listen to me speak. We don't get that very often in life, do we? So I want you to reframe the way you see the speaking test. This is a place where you can come and show off all your years of studying and hard work to someone who wants to listen and wants you to do well. You've done amazingly to get here. And to be able to speak English to the level that you do, it's amazing. So use this as an opportunity to show the examiner. And remember, the examiners aren't trying to take points away from you. They're trying to ask you questions to help you give your best, most natural performance. So go and be your best chatty self. Now, what if you don't understand the examiner? That's perfectly okay. Politely ask them to repeat what they said. And remember, you aren't being marked on your ideas, only your English. The speaking test is based on everyday topics, and you can bring your life experiences into your answers. So use practice questions to help you. Don't rigidly learn pre-prepared answers, but do think about stories you can use and the grammar and vocabulary that you'll need. For example, the topic of childhood memories might come up, so you can think about a few examples. What grammar might you use, like used to or would for past habits? It's always worth reminding yourself that the IELTS score isn't affected by your accent. IELTS is an unbiased language proficiency test, and examiners don't favour any accent. What truly matters is that you communicate clearly and use precise vocabulary. When it comes to the test day, the British Council IELTS have friendly and professional staff to help you stay calm and focus on your test. Okay, wow, I think we've covered everything here today. Please leave any questions you have in the comments below, and remember to subscribe if you'd like to see more videos just like this to help you prepare for your IELTS test. And don't forget to sign up to IELTS Ready Member.
Okay, that's good.
Imagine walking into your IELTS speaking test, confident and prepared, knowing no matter what happens, you're going to get the IELTS score that you need. Now picture walking out of the exam center, knowing that you have got the score that you deserve. This might sound impossible, but it's not. I know this because I've helped thousands of students who are struggling just like you get a band 7, 8, or 9. And in this video, I'm going to take you on a journey and tell you exactly what band 5 and 6 students do differently from band 7, 8, and 9 students. And these things that band 7, 8, and 9 students do differently are easy and simple to learn. You'll discover the hidden traps and common mistakes that trip up many students and learn the key techniques that could skyrocket your score. So if you're ready to go from fear and stress to just knowing exactly what to do on test day and having total confidence, keep watching the video. So the IELTS speaking test has 3 parts. So I divided this page into 3, and we're going to compare what did band 5 and 6 students do very, very differently from band 7, 8, and 9 students for parts 1, parts 2, and parts 3. So let's start off with part 1. This is your opportunity to create a great first impression with the examiner. And also, and I think more importantly, it allows you to relax into the test. If you relax into the test in part 1, you're going to be much more relaxed and more fluent throughout the entire test. So it is very, very important that you get part 1 right. So there are 3 things that band 5 and 6 students do differently from band 7, 8, and 9 students. And I'd like you to look at this clip of 2 students answering the same question in part 1. And I want you to think about which one might be at a band 5 or a band 6 level, and which one might be at a band 7 or band 9 level, but really think why. Why are they at that level? Not that they sound more impressive or they have a better accent or they're using fancier words. What are the things that you could copy or that you could stop doing that will really improve your score?
So I grew up in Dubai, and it's actually one of the most populated countries in the GCC. People come here to visit for tourism, and it's actually a good spot for to visit the largest tower. It's called the Burj Khalifa.
I'm from India. To be specific, I am born and raised in Delhi, and my mom is from Bombay, and my dad is from Kerala. But I've grown up my entire life here in Delhi, and I went to school here, went to university here.
The first student is doing something that examiners are trained to spot. This problem creates the worst first impression and could even get you a band 0, and it is memorized answers. So why is this such a big problem? Well, first of all, the IELTS test is not a memorization test. It is testing your ability to communicate clearly in English, not to memorize a bunch of sentences and repeat them to the examiner. It's also considered cheating. Think about it this way. If you really knew how to speak English to the level that you are trying to get to, would you need to memorize answers? No. And it also lowers your score in 2 very, very important ways. It makes you sound worse. Listen to this clip and think about how memorization might have led to a low score.
I come from India. India is a very populated country. It's the most populated country in the world right now. And we have lots of cultures and lots of traditions, and we have many, many different languages. And we also have different religions, and we also celebrate them very much.
So did you notice the first problem? I want you to think back to when you were a child in school and think back to those lessons where the teacher got you and the other students to read out loud from the book. How did you feel? Do you think that you sounded fluent or not so fluent? This is exactly how you sound when you memorize an answer. You sound like a robot. But don't worry, there's an easy way to fix that, and I'll tell you about it in a second. So did you spot any other issues? Let me explain here what the other issue was. So I want you to imagine this is the destination that you're going for. So you're trying to get to your line. And we have here student A, and we have here student B. So the examiner asks them, tell me about your hometown. Student A talks about the history of their hometown, culture of their hometown, famous things in their hometown, the food, the weather, the nightlife, and on and on and on. Student B just directly answers the question. And this is what the students do. They go off topic. And this is why many of you complain about examiners constantly interrupt you and stop you mid-sentence. It's not because the examiner is rude. In part 1, they have to ask you a range of different questions. I think between 9 and 12 different questions. And if you're giving these very, very long memorized answers, they're going to stop you in the middle of your sentence. You're going to feel, oh, the examiner thinks I'm doing really badly. You're going to get more stressed and you're going to sound even more robotic and your score is going to be terrible. So now you might be thinking, well, how long should they actually be? You're saying don't give very long answers, but should I give short answers? That's not good as well. No, let's look at what band 7 and 9 students actually do. The strategies students at band 7, 8 and 9 use are incredibly simple for part 1. I discovered this when I was teaching in Saigon in Vietnam. And what I used to do was I would go in maybe 10 or 15 minutes before the class started and I would speak to the students about things that happened at the weekend or sports or the weather, just normal chit-chat questions that you would talk to a friend or a work colleague or a teacher about. And during that 10 or 15 minutes before the class started, a lot of students gave band 9 answers. Then once the class started, I did something interesting. I would get one of the best students, the students that were the most fluent, that were at a band 9 level in those 10 or 15 minutes. And I would do a mock one-on-one speaking test with them. And they would go from band 9 to saying something, at the weekend, I went to Vung Tau, I like seafood, they have nice seafood, it was by the sea, it was nice by the sea. So from a band 9 down to a band 6 or 7. And I instantly improved the speaking scores of the entire class by just saying one thing. Why don't you speak in the same way as you did 10 minutes ago? You see, in the 10 minutes before class, they were talking to me like a normal human being, like a normal conversation. They spoke naturally, like they would to a friend or a work colleague. And they answered the question directly without going off topic. And I call this test mode. Students go from sounding very, very fluent to, as soon as the test starts, sounding like a robot. But how can you overcome that? There's one simple strategy that band 9 students use, and I want you to watch these clips and try and figure out the strategy.
Is your daily routine different at the weekend compared to during the week?
Yes, 100%. So the weekdays are for work, mainly being productive, paying bills, and the weekends I get to do whatever I want to do. So really treasure and enjoy my weekends.
Do you prefer to read magazines or newspapers?
Definitely magazines, mostly on topics of fashion or interior design. This is what I really like because I like to see creative sides from all over the world. I like to see what people are talking about, what's new, what's trending. And I like to learn, like I like to have knowledge of things of like, what is this called? What is that called? Because usually when you see pictures, you don't usually know what it's called. So when you read a magazine or you get the knowledge, that's where you get to know, oh, this fabric is called this or this decoration is called that. So I think it's very good on information.
So did you spot it? They simply directly answer the question and then add a little bit more detail. This detail could be an explanation or an example, personal story. And if that's confusing or overwhelming, just answer the question like you would if you were in a coffee shop with a friend. Remember, they're testing your ability to speak naturally in English, not to memorize a bunch of answers and impress the examiner with fancy structures. So let's now talk about part 2 of the speaking test. Part 2 is often the most feared part of the speaking test because it requires you to do something that a lot of students are uncomfortable doing or they're not used to doing. So in part 2, you'll be given a cue card that looks like this. And I'll ask you to speak about that topic for up to 2 minutes. This can be quite scary because it's difficult to speak about anything for 2 minutes, especially in a foreign language when you're under stress and you have a scary examiner like me looking at you. But what if I told you it wasn't part 2 that is scary? It is the strategy that students use that leads to low scores. And what's also really interesting is when students stop doing these things that band 5 and 6 students do and they switch to our strategy that our band 7, 8 and 9 students use, not only do their scores improve, but part 2 becomes something that they look forward to. It is their chance to shine and show the examiner how great they are without any worry, without any stress. First, listen to the student and see if you can spot any problems with what they're doing. Describe some food or drink that you learned to prepare. I don't really prepare much food or drink because my wife does most of that for me, but food or drink you learned to prepare, does a cocktail count? I know how to make a Bloody Mary. When and where you learned to prepare this? I learned to prepare it one morning when I was thirsty. How you learned to prepare it? I just looked up YouTube and explained how you felt about learning to prepare it. I don't know. It quenched my thirst. So did you spot what the problem was? What most students do is they look at the topic and then they talk about bullet point number 1, then bullet point number 2, then bullet point number 3, then bullet point number 4. But why is that a problem? Well, first of all, there might be one or more of these bullet points that you just don't have much to say about them. So what food was it? Cocktail. It was a Bloody Mary. But there's not much you can really say about that apart from what the thing is. How I learned to do it. Again, I learned it on YouTube. Not a big deal. I can't really talk much about that. So it's really limiting the amount I can talk. And remember, it is a test of speaking for up to 2 minutes. Then there might be a bullet point that you just feel uncomfortable talking about or you don't really know what to say for that. So explain how you felt. I don't really have major feelings about Bloody Marys and about cocktails. I just made it up on the spot. That makes it extremely difficult to speak fluently for up to 2 minutes. And then once you get to the end there, after, I don't know, 20, 30 seconds for the average student, you run out of things to say and you're like, oh, I've only been talking for 30 seconds. I'm going to fail my test. And everything gets worse and worse as you get more stressed and more stressed. So this is the most common strategy. And what does it lead to? Poor fluency, run out of things to say, and feel like you failed. I've done so many tests with students who were doing really well in part 1 and I was like, this student might be at a band 7 or a band 8. And then they use this strategy and completely fall apart. So what do band 7, 8 and 9 students do differently? I want you to listen to this student who got a band 9 and look at the cue card and think about what they're doing. What are they doing differently to these band 5 and 6 students?
Food that I learned to prepare. I'm pescatarian, so I don't eat meat, but I love food and I have a gluten intolerance, so I can't eat a lot of the Indian food. So this is a little recipe that I learned how to make, which is basically paneer. We call it cottage cheese in English. It's like a spiced tomato base with cottage cheese, with paratha, roti, but it's made out of ragi flour, which is gluten-free and super rich in calcium and very good for people with diabetes, although I don't have diabetes. It's very nutritious, basically. Together, it's the perfect meal. It keeps you full. I love being healthy. I try to be as healthy as I can. So, yeah, that's probably my go-to meal in the evening because I don't have to think about, I have all the ingredients. I don't have to think about how to make it. It's kind of automatic and it's delicious, which is the most important part. It's not compromising on the taste because I can't eat salmon and rice every day. I want to eat something that's more flavorful and nutritious. Sometimes when I'm feeling adventurous, I like to eat it with yogurt, either Greek yogurt or regular yogurt, and add a couple Indian spices into it and mix it up. So the spiciness of the paneer, cottage cheese, the texture, like a drier, stiffer texture of the ragi roti, and the creaminess and coldness of the yogurt is match made in heaven.
So hopefully you spotted they don't stick to the bullet points. Instead, what they do is they focus on the main topic. So they're always talking about the main topic, but they're not necessarily using all of the bullet points. What they do instead is they have the freedom to add other bullet points. So within that main topic, they are adding things that they feel more comfortable talking about whilst talking about that main topic. For example, if you got this cue card, you might feel very comfortable talking about these 2 bullet points, but this 3rd bullet point is going to take only a few seconds to talk about. And then this 4th bullet point is something that you don't really know anything about and you don't feel comfortable talking about. But you might find it easy to talk about other things related to the main topic, such as a description of the main topic, a story, how you feel about it, something about the past, or something that you hope to do in the future related to the main topic, or any other point point that you feel comfortable talking about. Now, should you use all of those ideas? No, just the ones that will help you speak fluently for up to 2 minutes. And anyone that tells you you must talk about each bullet point in order doesn't know what they're talking about. Now let's move on to, in my opinion, the most difficult part of the speaking test, part 3. Why is it so difficult? I want you to listen to these students and think about the questions. Don't focus too much on the answers, but focus on the questions being asked. And think about how you might respond to them.
Do you think that it's better to buy a property or rent a property?
No.
Should the same regulations apply to online advertising?
Everywhere. You mean by the regulation?
What?
Should the same regulation...
And think about how you might respond to them.
Do you think that it's better to buy a property or rent a property?
No.
Should the same regulations apply to online advertising?
Everywhere. You mean by the regulation on the... I cannot find the name, how to say it. Let's jump to another question.
So as you heard, part 3 questions are a lot more challenging than the typical part 1 question. But like everything with IELTS test, the problem is not the questions. The problem is the strategy that students use to answer them. So let's start off with the things that you should not do. The most important thing that you should avoid is no response. If you say to the examiner, well, I don't know, or just nothing comes out of your mouth, or I've even had students burst out laughing in my face when I ask them some part 3 questions, what you are saying to the examiner is, my English is not good enough to answer this question. But what happens if you really do have no idea? Some of these questions are very, very difficult. We'll give you a strategy for how to tackle any question, no matter what the topic is, in a second. The second thing that you should never do is give a short answer. And short answers in part 3 of the test normally have nothing to do with your English level or your speaking skills. 15 minutes of talking in a foreign language in a very stressful situation with somebody scary and horrible like me looking at you and judging you is an exhausting process. It's often more related to fatigue, to tiredness, than it is to English ability. So what they do is, something that you should never do, is they surrender. They just give up. They're just saying, I surrender, I don't want to answer more of these questions. My level is not as high as you really think it is. But I have some really, really good news for you. And this is something that not many IELTS students know or understand. I think it's a bit of a secret. I don't know whether I should be telling you this. But in part 3, the examiner has lots of different questions that they could ask you. They have some easier questions and some more difficult questions. If you get a really difficult question, that is an exceptionally good sign. That means that the examiner thinks that you might be at a band 7, 8, or 9, and they're asking you these more difficult questions to really stretch your speaking ability and separate the band 7s from the band 8s from the band 9s. So now that you know if you get a difficult question that it's a good thing and you're very happy about it, how do you tackle those difficult questions? The first and most important thing is always attempt an answer. But what if you have no idea? Well, you could do something like this.
I'm not too familiar with the topic of AI and its relation with education. However, in my knowledge, I do know that AI is developing more and more, and it might be able to replace some teachers' jobs or tasks, but it will not replace the trait of empathy.
Remember, it is not a knowledge test. It is not an IQ test. It is not a test of how much you know about that topic. It is a speaking test. Again, if you say nothing, what you're telling the examiner is, I don't deserve a high score. But if you attempt an answer, even if it is in that limited way, the examiner will think, okay, they might not know much about that topic. Let's change topics. Let's ask them about something slightly differently and see how they get on. And you'll probably get something you do know about. But it is far more likely in part 3, you will get some kind of a topic that you do know something about. So how do you shine? How do you show the examiner that you do deserve a band 7, 8, or 9? Watch this clip and think about what the student does in terms of how they structure their answer.
What skills does a person need to be a great chef?
Interesting. I mean, from what I've heard, I've never worked as a chef or worked in a kitchen before, but I think it takes a lot of trial and error. So for that reason, I would imagine that the person would have to be very patient. And with that patience, you need to have an inherent passion for the food that you're making. I think chefs usually specialize in one or more cuisines. So just having an understanding of the background of the spices, where it comes from, of the meat, where it comes from. If you're not passionate about that, it can probably tire you out to be that invested in learning. So patience, passion, and a good environment, like access to good teachers, access to good books, access to good produce would probably help you hone your craft a lot more.
So they did 4 things here. They directly answered the question. They then explained why they think that, or why other people think that. They then backed it up with examples, or you could include a personal story. And then they developed it even more by showing the other side, or you could give a new point. But here's the most important thing. Here's the key lesson for the entirety of the speaking test. What do all of these band 7, 8, or 9 students have in common? Well, when you're talking to a band 7, 8, or 9 student, it doesn't feel like a speaking test. It feels like having a normal conversation. Band 7, 8, or 9 students answer questions naturally, and they do that by steering the conversation to things that are easy and comfortable for them to talk about. They don't use tricks or hacks to try and cheat the test. It can't be cheated. Instead, they use the English they already have, the ability they already have to clearly communicate naturally with the examiner and show them the score they really deserve. And that's how they get the score that they really deserve. But very importantly, if you don't practice all of that, you're never going to be able to do it on test day. So here's a video that gives you access to more than 1,000 IELTS speaking questions and shows you how to practice at home for free. Hope you enjoyed the lesson, and I'll see you again next.
Okay. That's right.
Meet Isha. Isha wants to move abroad, but she's stuck at 6.5 in IELTS Writing Class 2, and we're going to help her today improve to a band 8 or maybe even 9. So I'm going to transform her writing. The good news is I'm going to do it step by step, and you guys can participate too. This is a fully interactive lesson, and you'll be able to participate by choosing the correct.
Okay, I'll save this video to watch later on, but with this I shall be ending screen. It's 1:30, and I probably should head to bed, because I do need to wake up a little bit early tomorrow. So yeah, let me change back to just chatting very quickly. Oh, this video here. Okay, fine, whatever. We'll deal with this shit tomorrow. For better or for worse, I will be writing it tomorrow. So let's see what happens. Let us see what happens. Alrighty. Alright, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. This isn't a normal. Wasn't a very normal stream today, or was an out of the ordinary one, I guess, for the most part. Will this happen more in the future? Most likely it will, because I probably will be having to learn Probably have to learn more of the basics and just relearn coding and other coding languages, programming languages. So if I do want to study, I'll need to know the basics. And I've forgotten most of the basics, which is not the best, but, well. But yeah, let's see what happens tomorrow. For better or for worse, we'll be done. And maybe, I guess if I stream or don't stream tomorrow, we'll know. You'll know if I did well or not. Guess if my mood is shit tomorrow, after the exam, I probably will not be streaming. But if it is good, I probably will stream. So yeah. That's well, yeah. That's fine, we'll figure something out. Probably. I think I'll watch that video, get ready for bed, then figure something else out tomorrow morning. I just have to make sure my speaking is decent for tomorrow. Maybe I could practice with you being tomorrow morning, let's see. Let us see. This practice would be good. It would be good. But anyways, yes, thanks so much for watching, everybody. I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next stream, whenever that may be. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after. Oh yeah, I might be doing a 24-hour stream on Sunday, maybe. I haven't planned anything out, so I don't know. I do not know. Maybe if the exam goes well, or at least if I feel it goes well enough, we shall do that as a celebratory stream for that, an affiliation celebratory stream. One of those things. What? Yeah. I don't know if I will be doing it though. Maybe. I do have some stuff that I have planned. So I'll try and finish it. I'll try and do the 24-hour stream before I get the result for the exam. Guess I will have to ramp up my education stuff. Looking at all the universities and shit, I'll have to ramp up what I'm doing for that after. So yeah, I don't think I will have too much time. But yeah, let's see. Maybe. There might be a 24-hour stream, so yeah, get excited. You gotta work soon? Of course you gotta work. You need the money. What time is it? So what? 2 something? Wait, you work at like 3 or 4, no? Was it 4? It was 4, no? That's like an hour and a half. You're fine. So 9, yeah. You work at 4, I think, right? So 2 hours. A little less than 2, but yeah, close enough. 4 to 8 or 9, yeah, that's fine. I thought it was 4 to 11, but 8 or 9 is not bad. I must game in clutch. Ooh. Wait, so you aren't closing then? Somebody else is closing? That's the shit. 200 people are. Hey, nice. You got your wish then. You aren't closing, which is good. And only in a 4 or 5 hour work day, which is good. Maybe I might hit you up in the morning if I need somebody to ask me the fucking speaking questions. Let's see. Most likely not. I think I'll. Yeah. Let's see. Yes. Calm down, Bean. Calm down. Shh. It's fine. Let's see. I don't know if I will. Because I am pretty good at talking to myself. So it is fine. Let's see. So I'll message you tomorrow. Then, tomorrow morning when I wake up. I don't think it'll take too long to shower tomorrow, which is good. I shampoo, condition my hair, I trim my beard, all of that is done. I think I should be able to finish in like 20, 30 minutes and dry my hair. Or maybe I don't even wash my hair tomorrow. Ooh. Maybe I just make it a 5-minute shower. I'll have more time to prepare in the morning. Okay, I'll figure that shit out tomorrow. Depending on when I wake up, I'll do something. Oh god. Okay, I'll lose my something in OBS. Okay, it's fine. Yeah. I'll speak to you in the morning if you're up for it. Anyways, I'll actually end stream now. Thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate everybody. I'll see you guys next stream, whenever that may be. Until then, I hope you'll have a good day, good rest of your day, and bye-bye.